Okay, hey, I'm Heather, and this is Marty, and he is with We Are the Fallen, and I'm doing a report here for Revolution Magazine, and we just started off a tour, and we're at the Bourbon Street. So how many tours have you been on as far as before this band started?
Before this band started, I've been touring for like 11 or 12 years. Before this, I was like a hired gun kind of bass player that just jumped around from band to band and just played for anybody. I played for Tommy Lee for like 8 or 9 years. All his solo tours he's done. I played for Disturbed and Static X for just fill-in gigs, and you know, both their bass players had injuries, and I filled in on bass on that. And I just jumped every year. I was on a different tour for like 10 years straight. So now I'm no longer just a hired guy, and this is a band that we all formed together, you know.
Cool. So how long have you been on tour this time? How many nights has it been so far?
We started in March, and we're going to go for like 18 months. Yeah,
18 months.
Yeah.
So you're doing it overseas as well as States?
We leave. Actually, the very first show we did with this was in London on March 23rd. We decided to just go over there and do like we wanted to make a special event, you know. So like, let's go and almost make it like a worldwide launch of the band live, and we did a special thing in London, and a lot of magazines came out and covered the event, and it was really cool. So
what was the turnout? That was like your maiden voyage with this band, so did you learn a lot? Yeah,
well, it was funny because it was hard because you know, you're in rehearsals and you're playing on all your own stuff and you're all ready to go, and then when you go to do a trip like that, you rent a lot of your stuff, like a lot of the speaker cabs, and the amps sound different because you're playing through a completely kind of different kind of voltage. Over here we use like, you know, 115, right. And over there is like 210 or 220, and so things just work. Your amps work differently, everything. So it was all rental gear, so it was a little shaky, but it was good. It was a good first show.
Yeah, do you have a sound guy that's on tour with you as well? Okay, so I guess he gets kind of, you can yell at him and he tweaks it as you go through the shows.
Yep. Yeah, we have a front of house guy and a monitor guy for what we hear in our ears, because what we hear in our ears is different from what they're hearing out there, you know.
And how did you come up with the name?
The name, somebody had recommended the name to us. It was actually Ben's girlfriend. She had mentioned We Are the Fallen, and you know, a lot of people think that it was just, you know, there was an Evanescence album that was called Fallen, so everybody thinks, they just jump on that thinking that was mainly what it was about. But I mean, maybe the word Fallen was inspired by it, because that was, you know, maybe the album where all these guys were mainly all together. But I've explained this before, and it kind of makes more sense every time I tell it. But it's like, everyone in this band were in previous projects or other bands that kind of just crumbled or just didn't fall apart, or didn't work out. They just kind of fell apart, and I almost feel like we're all these misfits that came from bands and projects that we really wanted to make work and didn't, and then we all of a sudden just somehow come together to do this, and We Are the Fallen just seemed to fit perfectly, you know. It's like. And
you have a new CD that's out. Do you want to tell everybody the name of it?
Yes. New CD, debut album. It's called Tear the World Down, and came out last Tuesday.
Go out and buy it. And what is your favorite song off of it?
Favorite song would be Burn, the second song in the album.
And what is it about?
What it means to me is
because it always
totally
means
different.
Something to everybody else. But your basic message in your songs, is it a positive message? Is it perseverance? What type of tone do you set with your music?
It's all just a story about everybody's personal things they've gone through. Some of the songs, I'm not even really exactly sure what they mean, because they're so personal to either Ben or Carly or Rocky or whoever. You know, most of them, they mostly did a lot of the lyrics. And even they get asked a lot what the song means, and actually most of them say they'd rather not go into detail about what it means, because then it kind of it creates something different for people who you know, it means something to them, you know what I mean? So they don't want to like cloud someone else's vision if it means something to them, or if it helps them somehow or whatever, you know.
So what is everybody's general direction with taking this? Because I know everybody has their own different style of music. I know that you have a wild variety of style, from Celine Dion to some prong and some static, which are my favorites because I'm the metal chick here. So, I mean, what style do you prefer, and does everyone else have their own set style, and you guys are just trying to blend them, or do you want to take this heavier, or where do you see this band going?
Well, the band itself, everybody just loves that perfect combination of beautiful and heavy and dark, and you know, there'll be a song where it's just like evil sounding and heavy, and then all of a sudden it just swells into this beautiful orchestra section or something, and that's just kind of where we're going at. It's like, to me, it's like this gigantic epic movie soundtrack with a rock band in front of it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the direction we're going in. We'll probably stay on for a little while, you know.
Yeah. So do you guys classify yourself more as a rock or more as a metal, or do you want to make your own sound and your own statement?
I think the easiest thing to do is just say it's a rock band, you know,
and let it go.
There's metal moments, but then there's moments where there's like a beautiful piano or something, you know what I mean? So rock band, that's the best way I can say it. Okay.
Now, personally, you as an artist, you've done a lot as far as your career with bass, and you've played with many different artists. What is, I guess, the most favorite thing about the whole industry that you do, because you've been behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, the photography, whoever did your photography on the website, it's a stunning shot.
Thanks.
It's really good. So there's a lot in the videos, there's a lot of different things that you can do, the creative process. What's your favorite? Meeting the fans or just touring?
Well, overall, being in a band, it's I love playing music, I love performing, and then there's a whole nother side of me that just loves traveling and seeing the world. And the fact that those can exist at the same time and they actually feed each other is amazing.
So you're the definite show goer. You like the shows.
Yeah, I love playing live shows, and I've been doing studio work for like 6 years, mainly doing studio work and not as much touring. And the cool thing about that is you get to work with so many different artists, like every day. Like you just get this random phone call, hey, come play on this song, and all of a sudden you're like, that's Chris Cornell.
I know.
And you're like, whoa.
I read that.
And you're like, I just, you know, you don't expect it, you know. It's with studio work, you don't really know sometimes even what it's for. You just show up like, okay, cool, and you're like, whoa.
Well, how come everybody's getting your name in the industry to show up? Because you're getting some really top names, Chris Cornell, Tommy Lee. You have a very large list. So how did you come up in this? Because I haven't really heard of you, and I love music. So I was really surprised when I read your bio.
It's all just little stepping stones, you know. I play with one band. My first band I was in, like real touring band, was a band called Kilgore, and we were on the Ozfest. So you're touring on the Ozfest, and I'm a people guy. I love meeting people, and there's 25 bands on that tour. Halfway through the tour, I know everybody, you know, and it's fun just knowing everybody hanging out. So you meet all these bands, next thing you know, your band doesn't work out, and then you're friends with all these other bands, and they're like, hey, come do this tour with us or this. Like Ozfest 2000, I played with Tommy Lee's band, Methods of Mayhem, and Disturbed was on that tour, so I became friends with them. And then
when did you play with them?
That was the winter, January of 2001. So I was friends with them, and they were just like, hey, Fuzz broke his ankle and we need somebody to fill in. Can you learn the songs in a few days? Sure. You know, it's just how it is. I mean, you have to be able to play, but you also have to be a cool guy that people want to hang out with.
So are you still on, like, stand-up? Like, if something happens, can you fill in? Do they hit you like that? Or?
Well, I mean, that's how it's always been for years and years. You know, I go wherever anybody would want me to. But this is the first time since, you know, I don't know how long, that I'm actually dedicated to a band, because we're all equal members, and it's our band. It's not just you know, we need a bass player for a tour. It's like we're all in this. It's a creative outlet for all of us.
What are your thoughts on the passing of Ronnie?
It's terrible. It's awful.
Did you know he started off as a bass player?
No.
Yes.
Wow. Yes.
I don't know if he's influenced your musical career at all.
Oh yeah, I'm a metal kid. I was a little teenager, 8th row at the Holy Diver tour.
I never caught that. That's one of my metal bands I've never seen, that I'll never get a chance to see.
Yeah, I saw him many times. Met him once too.
Really?
And actually, I met him years ago, but I was telling the story the other night. I was at a barbecue once, and I was telling somebody, I reach in this big old bucket just to grab like a water, and someone else reached in too, and I'm like, it's Ronnie Dio right next to me, drinking a root beer or whatever the heck it was. So it's one of those fun memories you have.
Well, thanks a lot for giving us the time coming out here,
Thank you.
I'm so looking forward to seeing the show. And this is Marty, and this is Revolution Magazine.
Thank you.